Yeah, wow, 30 years, where's that gone? You look back on time, and I think there's lots of changes in the game, and there's lots of changes as throughout the course of the years. But we probably didn't realise at the moment how iconic that were going to be as a changing point in the game, and how it moved on from there. Being involved in the first Super League game was quite a yeah, it was a great thing to be involved in. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out our way. We were um, unusually, we were probably sort of seen as being the favourites because the Paris Saint-Germain were a little bit of an unknown. They'd put together a large percentage of Australian players and a mix of French players, and so we didn't really know what the quantity we were going to be of them. So we went in as favourites. We'd played some all right stuff leading up to that, and it was a bit unusual for us because a lot of our team hadn't had sort of big game. I would say maybe big game experience. So there was a lot of media hype, and there was a lot of sort of people interested in talking and interviewing, and there were a lot of people around when we were in Paris before the game. So yeah, it was for us. It was a little bit of a new carry on, but the boys turned up and we had a go. But it was one of those where we didn't really our straps, and they come and they wanted to sort of write their name in history, I guess. So it was their moment to show the world. I think it's transformed. I think it's been, you look at the game back then, and when you watch some of the footage, it'll look quite vintage. But the fact is, it's 30 years, and I think that the players that are playing now, they're athletes. They really are out there. We were in the very first sort of phase of what you'd call full-time rugby. So we were still. A lot of the clubs were trying to work out what the full-time sort of rugby week looks like, and then I think as time's gone on, they've realised that the recovery is as important as the actual time on the field, and they've got more scientific. There's a lot more science involved now. But you look at the players, and they're getting what you call physically ready first team players. Probably, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years earlier now than what they actually were back in them days. It were, they weren't that full time regime has made a big difference to the physicality and the athleticism of the players. Plus the science that's been brought into it as well through a lot of the GPS and things like that. So it's all played its part, and I think the product is pretty outstanding.